through my veins. Oh, this line can't be tamed. There's fire in my blood. Burn.
And we're live. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Assetto Corsa Offline Championship here for round 2 of the 2019 Formula 1 Championship. We keep the F1 circus rolling as we head to the foothills of Mount Fuji for the Pacific Grand Prix at the Fuji Speedway. We're here for Q1, 12 minutes of the first stage of qualifying await us, and then a very, very exciting Grand Prix here at Fuji. My name is Miran FG in the commentary box, and joining me for the first time in F1 is Alex. Hello.
Good afternoon to you, Miran. It's good to be back in the commentary booth with you after the F2 race in Bahrain. And yeah, this is my first time in F1, so it's a whole new chapter for myself. And well, this is definitely set to be a whole different challenge to commentate such an elite competition.
Yes, definitely. But it's not your first time commentating the circuit in the ACOC. Obviously, you commentated here last season for Formula 2. So yeah, I guess we've got some experience under our belts. But before we get started with qualifying, then I will go through the track. So the Fuji Speedway, as I said, located in the foothills of Mount Fuji, the biggest mountain in Japan, in the Japanese city of Oyama, located in the Shizuoka prefecture of Japan. This circuit was first opened in 1965. Originally, it was meant to host NASCAR-style races in Japan. That's why it's called the Fuji Speedway. It was meant to have a banked oval. It was meant to be an oval with some banked corners. However, due to a lack of funding, that could not be completed. And then when Mitsubishi took over the circuit and finished the circuit to be what it is now, when it opened in 1965, it began with sports cars. The World Sports Car Championship used to come here. And then Formula 1, obviously F1 has had a lot of memorable moments at the circuit, namely the 1976 title decider between James Hunt and Niki Lauda. Very, very iconic title decider, that is. And then F1 eventually stopped coming here, but sports cars continued. You had series like Super GT, the World Endurance Championship, and even motorcycles came here at one point. So this track has hosted many different racing disciplines, and we are here today to host Formula 1 at this circuit once again. So Alex, what do you make of the circuit?
Well, it's definitely had a very interesting history, as you said, being built for NASCAR, when I believe the first ever NASCAR race outside of the US was actually at Suzuka anyway. So yeah, and this track is definitely legendary for many reasons, especially the 1976 finale between Hunt and Lauda, which Hunt did win out after Lauda had to pull out the race due to the terrible conditions. But yeah, after the F2 race last year, which provided some very interesting racing and some very interesting results too, we can be sure to be on the lookout for any surprise finishes as we see the first laps of qualifying come through. Dennis Graf currently in first at the moment with a 1:18.1.
Yeah, a very good time from the world champion then, as his teammate Miran FG slots behind him about 0.3 off. And then Luca Farina in third. That's very, very interesting, as the Italian qualifies behind the two Ferrari, so it's an all-Italian team 1, 2, 3 at the moment. But yeah, this is a very, very interesting circuit, and we've seen some great racing here before, as Alexander Arnold now goes fastest, breaks the Ferrari 1-2. Johansson splits the two Ferraris apart as he goes P3. And I believe we are waiting for Alfred Klaus. No, not Alfred Klaus. We're waiting for one car to cross the line. And I believe it is... who might it be, actually? I think it's Singh. No, Singh is at a lap time as well. I do not know who it is.
I think it's
Özkan.
Yeah,
Özkan goes P14 as he scored points on debut last time at Bahrain. Very, very good performance it was from the young Swede. We'll see if he can replicate that once again. But that's all the 20 times on the board then. It's Alex Arnold, the only man in the 117s at the moment, followed by Dennis Graf in P2, Jesper Johansson P3, Mian Evji P4, and then this man, Luca Farina, in P5. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, Luca does seem to be overachieving in that Alfa Romeo after in this session, and he'll be hoping to try and find a very decent qualifying result, so he can start further up the field and maybe score some good points.
For sure. Obviously, Farina missed out on points last time on Bahrain as his teammate Milka Singh goes P5. Great effort from the two Alfa Romeos as the Ferrari-powered cars are really proving themselves on this track today. Especially with that very, very long straight. That's going to be good for the Ferrari power unit teams. As we see, Victor Albom is currently in P10. They could be in for a chance of getting out of Q1, which they failed to do last time out.
Yeah, these long straights are definitely going to help the Ferrari engine, since they do capitalise on the straight line speed here. As we see Lewis McIntyre go across the line, and it's only good enough for P13. No improvement there from the Brit.
Yeah, McIntyre, obviously, he's gonna have to hope for a bit of a bit of better luck with Toro Rosso this season. Obviously, he hasn't really fared too well. He's had some standout performances, but he's just had very bad luck throughout his career. Also, one thing. Thank you to Joe in chat for mentioning this. There is a city called Oyama in Japan, however Fuji is not located here. The city that Fuji is located nearby is a town called Oyama. However, it is located on the outskirts of another town called Hamamatsu. So, yeah, essentially there is no Oyama close to the Fuji circuit. I was reading it through the Wikipedia article on the Fuji Speedway, so I was incorrect on that. Thank you for the correction, Joe. But either way, we'll get back. I'll get back on with qualifying. Enes Parachki currently in P9, as he will cross the line there. No improvement for him. Next to cross the line is Lewis McIntyre. Let's see if the Brits in the Toro Rosso can improve, and he does not at the moment.
Yeah, that's I guess that's a bit of food for thought there, considering that you thought that it was in a place that it wasn't. But yeah, thank you to Joe for that piece of knowledge there. As we see Dennis Graf, a German in the Ferrari, going on into the hairpin at turn 1, starting his flying lap. He will want to try and improve on that 118.1 he set, but he is going to get held up by his teammate Miran Evci, so I think he will be quite annoyed with that one.
Oh dear, yeah, it's not a lot of times where you see teammates holding up each other in qualifying. I think this is, this is not going to make Dennis happy for sure, as he's being impeded here by his teammate. Either way, we'll see if Evji will get out of the way here, but this is not going to do the two Scarlet Red Ferraris any well in qualifying, at least.
Yeah, and Dennis, after winning the championship in 2017, he'll be sure to try and get himself back into the fight for the 2019 championship as well. After an unfortunate 10-second penalty in Bahrain dropped him down to 5th, which is not the start he would have wanted.
Yeah, obviously, it's it's been a bit of a rough start to Dennis's 2019 season, especially coming off the back of a very, very strong 2018. But unfortunately, he lost out to Jesper Johansson in that final Brazilian Grand Prix at the end of the season. Obviously, remember back to the Japanese Grand Prix at Fuji last year. Obviously, now it's called the Pacific Grand Prix, but back then it was called the Japanese Grand Prix due to Suzuka not being on the calendar. Dennis Graf actually took pole here at the circuit. However, it was the Mercedes of Alexander Arnold who... just as we speak of him, actually he improved on his pole time. It's a 1:17.851 for the German Mercedes driver. As we see Luca Farina and the McLaren of, I believe that's I think that's Ennis Parashki, is that not? No, Franco Gamba. Apologies, it was a bit hard to spot the number there. As Thomas Mandich set an improvement, goes P5. But yeah, last year's Japanese Grand Prix was won by Alex Arnold, but it was Dennis Graf who took that pole. As yeah, there seems to be a bit of talking going on in chat, but either way, let's just enjoy the race, guys.
Yeah, and as you were speaking there, Samet Ozkan is flying in that Toro Rosso up into P6 for the Swede. A fantastic lap and just under a second off Arnold. So I guess the real message here for everyone else is catch Arnold if you can.
Yeah, really, Samet Özkan might break that Toro Rosso curse of underperformance, and he might actually be able to deliver through with some performances as Luca Farina takes that P5 from Thomas Mandich. Mandich, who's had a bit of a shaky start to his Red Bull career as well, as Mohamed Patel goes P11. But yeah, Farina doing really, really well in P5 at the moment. And then Thomas Mandich in P6, who's going to want to try and match teammate Klaus. He's actually beating his teammate Klaus, I just realized. Alfred Klaus down in P10, so he seems to be struggling. But with 30 seconds remaining, the people in the elimination zone right now is Maximilian Novikov, Josef Fredrik Schuto, Laban Zasnishkai, Kai Cherezhnia, and then Franco Gamba, who are all in the pit lane. So that's actually already confirmed the people that are out of qualifying.
Yeah, that's quite unfortunate for the five of them, and I'm not sure why they're still in the pit, why they were still in the pits up to now. But as we see the final seconds come down, checker flag is out, and as it does, Alfred Klaus moves up into P2, so that's much better from him. And he's just over a tenth off the German Alex Arnold in the Mercedes, so a pretty good lap, but not good enough to try and take first.
Yeah, very good stuff from Alfred Klaus. Gets himself into the 1:17 alongside Jesper Johansson as well. But this confirms everyone for Q2 then. Jafari Blackwood is through. Remember, Blackwood as well. So both Haas are through. Jafari Blackwood, he won here in Formula 2, so he has some pretty good experience under his belt. We're seeing some final improvements come through. Singer goes up into P8. Kulasek improves up into P10. And then Lewis McIntyre with a nice little improvement as well. I think McIntyre is going to be quite happy. He's through into Q2 as well.
Yeah, the Haas's will be more than happy with this, as well, as you said, Jafari Blackwood does have some very good experience there, and he knows this track very well, considering his win in Fuji last year, which I was bearing the witness of, and as well as Victor Albom, another good effort from him to put his Haas in P13 as of right now.
Yeah, Haas obviously not at the same performance levels they were last year, but yeah, good to see them into the second stage of qualifying then.
And I think we're just waiting for a few more drivers, and that is officially Q1 over.
And yeah, it's Alexander Arnold who's fastest then here at Q1. And the people who are out are Maximilian Novikov, Josef Fredrik Schuto, Laban Zasnishkai, Kai Cherezhnia, and then Franco Gamba. Very, very interesting qualifying session then, actually. Laban Zasnishkai and Franco Gamba out.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty frustrated with the laps they put in, and they will definitely want to do a lot better in the coming races, as this is definitely going to hamper them in their chances of maybe scoring some decent points today.
For sure, and Laban, he looked so strong at Bahrain as well with that heroic qualifying performance for Renault. So, yeah, it's a shame to see him that far down. Same goes for Franco Gamba, who had a very, very good debut race for McLaren until it obviously got ruined by the Red Bull of Thomas Mandic. And then Kai Terezhnia, who seems to be struggling to get off the back foot in qualifying this season as well, got knocked out in Q1 at Bahrain as well. And then the two Williamses of Josef Schuto and Maximilian Novikov.
Yeah, it does. I hope it really doesn't become a recurring theme for Stephanie Kai or Gamba, but it does seem that the Williams are going to have a very big challenge this year, considering that they finished 19th and 20th. And as we begin Q2 now with the last 15 drivers, and in Q2, 5 more drivers will be knocked out, and we will then see the top 10 shootout in Q3.
I think we might have done something wrong there. Either way, it's going to be a little bit of a longer wait. Sorry for that, guys. But yeah. Kai Terezhnia out as well. I think a lot of things was expected from the young Polish driver for 2019, especially considering his qualifying performances. But yeah, we hope that he can also maybe get off to better, or maybe, wow, I can't speak today. We'll just be hoping that the guys knocked out in Q1 do better in the race at least. At least that's some consolation. Here we are then for Q2, and it is Jesper Johansson, the Super Swede, is out on track first of everybody.
Yeah, Johansson bearing the number 1 as he is the reigning world champion, first out for first in the championship, I guess. And following him is 2 more drivers. I'm not quite sure if I can make out who it is, but everyone is going to start coming out now as we see more and more drivers pouring out onto the track.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tight session for sure, as we're gonna have all of the guys in the higher midfield trying to get into Q3. We'll see. We could have some standout performers here today in Q2. Either way, we are gonna have this man Jesper Johansson at the benchmark time at least, so it's gonna be quite interesting.
Yeah, and even if it is the benchmarker, it will be tough to beat, considering the Mercedes have basically proved their strength throughout the entirety of the ACOC, and especially this season as well, as they have seemed to have only gotten quicker. As we see now, Johansson is about to start his first lap of the second qualifying session.
Yeah, Mercedes have been a very, very strong contender, obviously, but they have not managed with the Constructors' Championship once. Both times have gone to Ferrari. As we go on board with Jesper Johansson then into turn 3 Coca-Cola, and then turn 4 the right-hander, very long right-hander, this is 100R. Really important to keep the good line through there as you head into turn 6, the hairpin. There's Toro Rosso just ahead of him there. That's going to be frustrating for the Swede as he heads through turn 8 and now turn 9 300R. And then on to sector 3 on the turn 10 Dunlop. This is a much more trickier and twistier section as he heads on to turn 13, conveniently named 13th. Then
yeah, that's quite convenient for people who do not really pay attention to corner names. So yeah,
then on to the final corner then as the track rises, Panasonic turn 16. And then let's see what it will be for Johansson. We're not expecting a very brilliant time as he was held up by that Toro Rosso.
Yeah, it's not really going to be the best time in the world, but it is going to be. But it will be enough for now, at least. And it is a 1:18.6.
1:18.6. That is definitely off the pace, I believe, considering that Johansson was in the high 1:17s in Q1. So that time's gonna be the beaten for sure, and it has by his teammate Alex Arnold, who's gone 6/10 faster than his teammate Johansson. FG a 1:18.8. Doesn't manage to beat the two Mercedes. We'll see if he can improve though in the later stages of Q2 here, as we await the other times as well. And it's Paratsky in the 1:19s there.
Yeah, chances are Miran must have been held up in some form or made a mistake on the lap, as we see Mohamed Patel setting his lap, going ahead of Enes Paratsky and Albon, and Dennis Graf also ahead of Johansson now in P2 for the German. And Jafari Blackwood goes P7 ahead of his teammate.
Yeah, so we'll see if the Hassas can keep up their good form and maybe even have a Q3 appearance. But we'll see. Either way, there's a lot of midfield teams looking really strong. It's a very contested midfield this season, it looks like, compared to seasons like 2017 and 2018. I mean, teams like Alfa Romeo, McLaren, Renault, and even Haas, and yeah, you know, they've all been up there, and even like Racing Point. So they're all up there in my opinion, and they competed for some good points. As Miran Evji is coming into the pit lane there after his first run. I think he was side by side with the Alfa Romeo of Luca Farinas. He goes P5, and then Milka Singh, who goes ahead of his teammate, 1:19 flat. Very good performance from the Alfa Romeo so far, though.
And Alfred Klaus has just gone P3, knocking Singh down to 6th, and that is all 15 drivers who have set at least one time now. And as we see now, Alfred Klaus is on a second lap, and he is down in the first sector by about 1.5 tenths.
Could still be an improvement over the Swede as he makes his way around the 100R. It's very satisfying to see those F1 cars go around there. There's so much downforce on these cars as well, so they can almost take that corner flat, which is absolutely incredible. And then on to turn 8, let's say Klaus's middle sector, and it is 2 tenths off, so he could manage to get ahead of Dennis Graf here. Obviously, if this isn't an in-lap for the Swede, we don't know that. You see AI is a bit iffy with that sometimes. As Lewis McIntyre goes P10, he gets himself out of the elimination zone for now, pushes Mohamed Patel down to P11. As Klaus makes his way around Panasonic then. Let's see if he will finish this lap or dart into the pits, and he goes into the pits. So Klaus is no reason to finish this lap, and he heads back into the pit lane.
Yeah, Kulasek, McIntyre and Patel are all very close to one another, I believe. Actually, no way. Paretsky and Blackwood are everyone from Singh down to Blackwood is separated by a space of 2 tenths, so really this is, anyone can be knocked out at the moment, and, well, Patel, Paretsky and Blackwood all have around like 2 laps to save themselves and get themselves into the final 10, into the top 10 shootout, but in Q3.
For sure, it is really, really close in the midfield. As I was talking about earlier. Everyone really, really close, and it's anyone's game to get into Q3 here. Let's see for Kulasek, the man in P9 at the moment, as he will cross the line. He cannot improve. Same goes for the Toro Rosso behind. Jesper Johansson, though, let's see if he can manage an improvement. And not for the time being, but he is at least safe into Q3. So I think Johansson just saving up that car for Q3. Thomas Mandic in P8, looking a bit shaky. Let's see if he can get himself up the order. He cannot, as he's P8 at the moment. Enes Paratsky, who will start his lap time currently in P12. He's going to have to hope to get McLaren into Q3 and make the team he's been sticking with since 2017 proud. Let's see, as he will start his lap.
And he's 1.6 tenths down in the first sector, but going for a 100R now. That corner is absolutely fantastic, as you said, Miran. And he will need a very strong lap to at least cement his place in Q3 to carry the team's hopes of a good qualifying position here. Through 300R, he's 3 tenths down now, so I don't think we will be seeing any improvement from the Macedonian. However, he will have at least one more lap to maybe get the job done.
A bit of information for you, Alex. The delta at the bottom that shows that he's 3 tenths off is not that he's 3 tenths off his personal best. It's 3 tenths off the pole time, just for your information. But let's see then, as Paratsky will finish this lap, no doubt, as he makes his way to the start-finish straight. Let's see what it will be for Enes Paratsky, and if he can get himself out of Q2. As he will cross the line now, it's P4 for the Macedonian. Very good lap for Enes Paratsky, and that has got him into Q3 for sure, as he makes contact with Victor Albom. That is very odd. What on earth? I was not expecting that. That's Victor Albom who spun round there for a bit, but I think he was on a lap there as well, and that could maybe impede Victor Albom in qualifying, actually. So we could maybe see a penalty being awarded, but either way, well, that was very odd.
No idea what was happening, but I think judging by the delta at the bottom left corner, I believe the album has actually finished. It actually either come out the pit lane or just finished the lap. But either way, that will be in some form of penalty for either driver. No matter what. As we see Mohammed Patel in 12th, he will want to be getting a good lap in to get that to maybe do the same as Enes Paratsky and get the job done and get into Q3 with 30 seconds on the clock.
I believe it was Victor Albom coming out of the pit lane into turn 1. I think it was just kind of bad timing for Albom, as Paratsky had just come off a flyer there, and yeah, it was a bit unfortunate timing. As we see Mohammed Patel, let's see if the British driver can get himself out of Q3. He cannot. That's Mohammed Patel out. And Jafari Blackwood for Haas as well. Samit Özkan and Victor Albom are still on laps. Lewis McIntyre is out, but he still managed well, I think, as the checkered flag is out. Samit Özkan's on a lap. He's about a second off Arnold in the middle sector. Could still be an improvement, but I don't know if he can manage to get out of Q3. Alfred Klaus, that's an improvement, goes P3, but that doesn't really matter now. We're going to focus on the bottom 5. Samit Özkan and I believe Victor Albom are on laps, but I don't think Victor is going to improve. There might be damage to that Haas car. Either way, We're going to see as Özkan's into the pits. So Özkan is not improving. Victor Albom, who is on a lap here as he heads through the third sector. Let's see if the man from Denmark can improve as he makes his way around turns 13 and 14. Now on to the final corner. We'll see if Victor can finish this lap. Either way, he's going to have to hope to make Haas proud. And let's see if he will finish this lap then. As yeah, he is going to finish it. Let's see if Victor Albom can get himself out of P15 and maybe have a shot at Q3, as he will cross the line now, and it's only P12 for Victor Albom, unfortunately. Gets ahead of his teammate and Mohammed Patel, but that is the Danish driver out of qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, I think Paratsky rear-ending him when he was coming out the pits will have definitely hampered his lap time, but as that was happening, unrelated to anything, Luca Farina managed to improve on his lap and I think stay P8. But yeah, that is the top 10 decided.
Yeah, once again, it's Alexander Arnold who is fastest. Once again, a very good performance from the German, as he's looking to grab pole from everyone else here at Fuji. Another good performance from the Alfa Romeos as they're P7 and P8, but yeah, you have to give it to Lewis McIntyre, though. He was very, very close at getting into Q3 in that Toro Rosso.
Yeah, the British driver will be ruining hit that, but I guess for now he should probably look at the positives and it's a very honest P11 for him. But though, to be honest, it definitely could have been more.
Yeah, either way, he looks to be in a very, very good position for the race, for sure. And the same goes for Victor Albom in P12. Samit Özkan, a bit lower in P15 there, but we'll see if he can claw his way into the points after that brilliant race showing at Bahrain. Either way, people into Q3 then. Wojtek Kulasek is in. So he's done very, very well. Thomas Mandic just barely got in with P9. And then the two Alfa Romeos, you have to really give it to them. It's been a really good qualifying performance for those two. And then the McLaren of Enis Parachki, who got himself into Q3. So as we are now here for Q3, 7 or 8 minutes of the battle for pole, as it's Miran Evji for Ferrari, who is the first man out. And this is going to be very, very exciting.
Yeah, now that we've got 10 drivers, I think there'll be less chance of drivers impeding one another, and we'll be able to get plenty of fast laps. And yeah, and going back to the Alfa Romeos for a second, this has definitely been a strong circuit for them, as that long straight is definitely helping their chances. As once again, as I've said before, the Ferrari engines do have very strong straight line speed compared to the other manufacturers out on the grid.
Yeah, that Ferrari engine, ever since 2017, has been a really, really powerful engine on the straights. Especially in 2018, I believe. Last season, they had a really, really good engine, Ferrari, and it really proved it as Miran Evji completely dominated Azerbaijan. So, yeah, they are very good in. They're very good in tracks like these, obviously, but. We'll see then as Miran Evji starts his lap of the Fuji Speedway. Alex, would you like to take us around a lap of the Fuji Speedway?
Absolutely. As we enter the end of the first sector now, and into the entry towards 100R now, that very long right-hander that you can almost take flat out there in seventh gear, going to another slow corner, I believe now. Yes, and sorry if I don't know any of the turn names. I'm not very familiar with this track, even though I did commentate it. Through 300R and towards the end of the second sector, and that is a 38.1 so far on this lap. And through into the final sector, the very clinical part of this track, where you have to be very precise with the entries and exits, and yes, and it's very twisty, so you have to be very careful to not lose the car on the exit, as there's a lot of elevation change into the final corner, Panasonic, I believe it is named, and into the long DRS straight. And this looks like a very clean lap from the Swedish driver here, and I believe this will be a very hard time to beat at the moment, even though it is the benchmark time to beat, and it is a 1:19 flat.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, that is Miran Evji setting a 1:19.0. Actually, I think he made a bit of an error into the final corner. He looked to go very, very wide in that corner, and as a result, he lost quite a lot of time, especially in Sector 3. So, I think that time is going to be beaten by the other front runners for sure, but we will see. But that is the time to beat then. 1:19.071, as Luca Farina is the second man to cross the line. Jesper Johansson beats that 1:18.879. We'll see if any of the drivers can manage to get into the 1:17s again. That is if track conditions have improved from Q1 and Q2. Maybe they worsened, actually, I do not know.
I think it could actually be a case of less drivers on the track, meaning less slipstreamers, as the straight did provide a lot of slipstreaming opportunities due to a larger amount of cars on the track. And I think that's Thomas Mandic and Alfred Klaus taking 4th and 5th for the Red Bull. For the Red Bulls, Mandic around 2/10 off Miran Evji, as Enis Parachki in the McLaren goes 6th, ahead of Luca Farina in 7th.
Yeah, Enis Parachki, they're in P6, and Luca Farina. Obviously, I guess not a lot is expected from McLaren or the Alfa Romeos, but Q3 performance is still very, very good for them. So I think they've already done enough this qualifying session. There, just up ahead of Alexander Arnold, is Wojtek Kulasek, but we're gonna see Alexander Arnold then. Let's see if the man from Germany can challenge Dennis Graf for pole, as he will cross the line now, and it is P3 for the German, just looks behind Jesper Johansson, as Johansson goes fastest by 0.2 of a second from Dennis Graf. So he is the provisional pole sitter at the moment, from Dennis Graf in P2 and then Alexander Arnold in P3.
Yeah, fantastic lap from Jesper Johansson, and that may just be enough for pole position here. As we see, Enis Parachki going round sector 2 now. He is 8th at the moment, and Alfred Klaus goes 6th place, and Dennis Goff has entered the pits. Oh no, sorry, Enis Parachki was going through the last corner, my mistake. And what's this lap going to be? Is it good enough to find any improvements at all? No, it is not. He will remain P8 at the moment.
Yeah, and if then in P8, obviously can't equal the time that he set in Q2, but Thomas Mandic then, currently ahead of Alfred Klaus on track. Klaus was behind Kulasek, just managed to get that P6 from the Czech driver, as we see Milka Singh going into the pit lane, Dennis Graf, and then Thomas Mandic is in as well. Let's see Wojtek Kulasek then, as he will finish this lap. Let's see if the man from the Czech Republic can improve. And he does not yet. He stays P7. Alex Arnold sets an improvement, but he stays P3 for now. Can't get ahead of Dennis Graf as Jesper Johansson's into the pits. Luca Farina stays P10. His more experienced teammate Milka Singh currently ahead of him by about a tenth of a second in P9. Alfred Klaus, who currently is in P6, he's going to have to hope to beat his less experienced teammate, as he will cross the line now. Let's see what it will be for Alfred Klaus, and it is not an improvement for the Swede.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with Alfred in this qualifying, but he has shown his pace in plenty of races, and will definitely be capable of beating his less experienced teammate Thomas Mandic. But don't get me wrong, both are very good drivers, and Mandic does fully deserve that Red Bull seat. But yeah, Alfred Klaus will be pretty frustrated with just P6 for now, as we see Wojtek Kulasek in the Renault Czech driver in P7 at the moment, around 500ths of a second off Alfred Klaus, and is going down the main straight now, as there's a Mercedes behind him. I think it's Alex Arnold. Yes, it's Alex Arnold, since Johansson actually went into the pits a few seconds ago. And Kulasek does not improve and is going to stay P7, and that will be his qualifying over. Same with Luca Farina, he will stay P10, but that is good. That is a fantastic result for Alfa Romeo. They will be very pleased with what they've been doing today so far.
Yeah, it's a really good showing for Alfa Romeo. But Alexander Arnold, who did not improve in that lap time, that means he's out of qualifying and he will start P3 unless this man, Miran Evji, has anything to say about that. Currently he and then... No, he's the only person who can still finish this lap, but look at that. That's Enis Parachki, very, very slow on the corner exit there. He was actually entering the pits, almost shoved Evji into the pit lane, but I think that's ruined Evji's lap. And he will cross the line, and it's no improvement for Miran Evji. Alexander Arnold, could he actually manage to get another lap time in, but he's stuck behind the Renault of Kulasek here. So it's debatable if the man from Germany can improve, as he will round Panasonic now and make his way onto the start-finish straight. Let's see if Alexander Arnold can improve, as he's getting a decent slipstream here from Kulasek. So it could maybe happen. We'll see though. Will it be the pole for Alexander Arnold, as he will cross the line now? And it's no improvement for Alexander Arnold. Waiting for one car to cross the line. That's Luca Farina. And he is entering the pits. So, yeah, he will start P10. Heroic effort from the two Alfa Romeos today, as he will start P9 and P10. And the Red Bulls are going to be quite disappointed, P5 and P6. But it is Jesper Johansson who grabs the first pole of the season, as he is on pole for the Pacific Grand Prix.
Yeah, Johansson back in first, where he seemingly does belong at the moment. But yeah, and Miran Evji did definitely have the chance to go pole, but Enis Parachki almost shoving him into the pits, as you said, and he will definitely be very frustrated with the McLaren driver after that. And yeah, the Alfa Romeo is absolutely fantastic effort today, beating out the Racing Points and Franco Gamba in the McLaren. And as a lower midfield, as a team in the lower midfield, they will absolutely be delighted with any points they could possibly get today.
Yeah, Alfa Romeo could be on for some very, very good points. I believe this is their best qualifying position ever. In the ACOC, so they're doing really, really well. And yeah, I think I think the team will be delighted, and Singh and Farina, two very good young drivers, so I think they could bring home the point today. And his Paratsky in P8, I think he was hoping for a tiny bit better, but either way, it's still a McLaren into Q3. And then Wojciech Kulasek as well. Another strong showing from the Czech driver in P7. The Red Bulls, they seem quite off the pace this season, at least from the first two races. Thomas Mandic, who's out-qualified his teammate Alfred Klaus, so still a pretty good effort from Mandic. Either way, they seem to lack quite a lot to the Ferraris and the Mercedes. But Jesper Johansson then starting on pole. It's going to be very interesting to see what he can do. Obviously, we know what he's capable of when he is commanding the race.
Yeah, he does have the potential to just run off ahead of the others and just win by a huge margin, potentially even lapping a car or two. But yeah, Jesper Johansson, we know what he's capable of, and the 28 and his championship title last season definitely proves that.
Yeah, Johansson, as he proved in the final two races of the season back in 2018, when he gets that lead, there is no stopping him. And I remember at Mexico, at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, he won by 10 seconds from the man in P2, which was an absolutely just dominant display of power from the Super Swede. But either way, we'll see if he can manage that today, or if the man from Germany, Dennis Graf, could have anything to say about that, because we know Dennis, he is no slouch, and we could be treated to a very good battle for the lead today. Alexander Arnold in P3, there on the second row. He's got to have Miran Evci to worry about, and then the two Red Bulls, we'll see if they can hold on, or we'll see if they can catch up to the Ferraris and the Mercedes today as well.
Yeah, the Red Bulls after that qualifying definitely need to catch up to the two front runners, and Dennis Graf and Jesper Johansson do seem to be the front runners today. And once again, it is a case of Mercedes versus Ferrari in the ACOC.
Yeah, I think it is as the game crashed. So we're going to be in this loading screen for a tiny bit more. Sorry for the inconvenience, but we'll continue talking through the grid. I think the Hasses could be in for some quite good points as well. Victor Albom, P12, and then Jafari Blackwood is in P14. And we'll see if they can get into the points as well. And then Lewis McIntyre starting P11 as well. So,
definitely some good performances from the lower teams today. As I do think we've managed to get everything functioning and working again now. So
here we go.
We should be ready for the race.
Yeah, let's go through the starting grid and then before lights out for the Pacific Grand Prix. Bit of a different format today. I think I'll do grid spots 1 to 10, and then you can do 11 to 20. So then it is Jesper Johansson, first pole for the Swede this season, as he will start on pole position for the Pacific Grand Prix, followed by Dennis Graf in P2, the world champions, taking spots 1 and 2. On the second row, it's Alexander Arnold in P3, who took pole here last year. He starts third, followed by Miran Evci in P4. It's an all Red Bull third row, followed by Thomas Mandic, who outqualifies Alfred Klaus. Mandic P5, and then Klaus in P6, followed by Wojciech Kulasek in P7, and then it's Enis Praschke in P8. And the two Alfa Romeos rounding out the points. Milka Singh P9 and Luca Farina P10. Very, very good qualifying for the Alfa Romeos.
Then in P11, just missing out on Q3 is Lewis McIntyre and Toro Rosso. Just behind him is Victor Albon. And then it's the British driver Mohammed Patel in the Racing Points in 4th. And then in 14th, it is the Jamaican of Jafari Blackwood for Haas. And then in 15th, it is McIntyre's teammate Samet Ozkan. In 16th, pretty disappointed with his qualifying today, Franco Gamba in the McLaren, and equally as disappointed is Kai Shrezhnia in the Racing Points. In 18th, and probably even more disappointed than Shrezhnia and Gamba, is Laban Shashnikai in the Renault, and then rounding out the field is the two Williams of Joseph Frederick Suto in 19th and Maximilian Novikov in dead last.
Yes, as we will now get on the way for the Pacific Grand Prix. It's going to be a very, very exciting 51 laps. It's Jesper Johansson on pole. Let's see if Dennis Scott can do anything. We've got 6 lights. And we are on our way for the Pacific Grand Prix. Everyone getting off the line well then. Looks like Mandic already defending from his team at the Red Bull, 2 Red Bulls alongside. Jesper Johansson is going to be forced to the outside as Graf darts to the inside. The 2 championship contenders side by side. But Johansson looks to have gotten ahead then of Graf as he successfully defends from the world champion. Arnold and MG side by side for P3 as they head into 100 and are now the 2 Red Bulls as well scrapping as the Kaiser has crashed. And that sent him down to last place. So more wins for Chereshnia. Then it's Arnold on the inside of MG as they head into the hairpin. Now still side by side as Arnold's going to be forced a long way round as they head into 300R to the 2 of these locked in wheel-to-wheel racing as Arnold now going to go the long way round trying to get past Beer and MG around the outside as he seems to have got the better exit then on MG, but Miran is still going the inside line into this corner as they head into turn 13. Still wheel-to-wheel racing as they've been side-by-side for almost the entire lap. But Alexander Arnold gets ahead of me on MG for P3. The battle might be over. It is not. As MG still on the inside of Alexander Arnold going wide as he dips a wheel into the grass. And I think that's Miran MG ahead. But MG with a poor exit. They're still wheel-to-wheel. I cannot believe it. Johansson pulling away then from Dennis Graf as the Mercedes and the Ferrari side-by-side heading into lap 2 out of 51. Arnold on the inside, MG trying to hold off the German as he's going to be on the outside line heading into the first corner into turn 2 then and then into turn 3. Coca-Cola, I think Björn MG is finally ahead. They were side by side for the entire lap.
Absolutely fantastic. I have no idea how they didn't end up hitting each other and crashing out of the race, but some fantastic and definitely respectful driving between FG and Arnold. And FG does eventually win that battle and is up into P3. Fantastic stuff from the Swedish Ferrari driver.
Yeah, what a close battle between the 2. It's Miran MG who comes out on top, but the battle could not be over yet as we're going to see this. Josef Erik Schuto, who has gained a few positions on the start here. He's now putting the pressure on Franco Gamba for P16. And Lamas Osnisha as well. Very good start for the young Serbian as he's going himself up into 15th place. Josef Erik Schuto then falling back on Franco Gamba here. His teammate Novikov currently behind him as the 2 Williamses could be battling later on. One man that has gotten himself into the points is Viktor Albom in P10. A very, very noble effort from him as these 2 are going to go side by side now for P8. It's Parachki versus Kulasek for 8th place as Parachki is going to be on the inside of the Renault driver Wojtek Kulasek. Parachki then on the inside. Can he make the move stick as Kulasek with the better traction around the outside? Now Parachki is going to have the outside line here into turn 3. But they're going to be side by side now through 100R. Parachki on the inside looks to have the better traction and he gets the move done. And it's Parachki. Very nice stuff from the Macedonian driver.
Yeah, fantastic battling. But once again, fantastic battling, and Parachki has definitely proved that he has at the moment the better ability to navigate the Fuji circuit, and Kulasek will be wanting to get him back maybe at the end of this lap, maybe in the rest of the race. He will have to use a strategy. He will have to make some form of strategy to possibly get that 8th place back and maybe gain a few more positions, as Luca Farina also gained some positions at the start as well, up to P7 for the Italian.
Yeah, great effort from Luca Farina. 3 places gained as we just see the position gains from the start then. FG was able to overtake Alexander Arnold there after that incredible battle. That's FG up 1 and Arnold down 1, but that battle was still far from over as you see Arnold who's still on the back of Miran FG. Alfred Klaus overtook Thomas Mandic to start there. And then Luca Farina, what a man. Up 3 positions in that Alfa Romeo. That guy certainly has a lot of talent, and yeah, he's up 3 positions. Enis Parachki was able to overtake Wojtek Kulasek. He stays P8, and then Kulasek is down 2 positions, and Viktor Albom was up 2, could be 3 though, as he's putting the pressure on Wojtek Kulasek here, but could not get that move done just yet. Had a bit of a look there to try and scare Wojtek maybe. He's up 2 positions, so very, very good stuff from the Haas driver. And Mirka Sigun's down 2, so he's not had the best start. Lewis McIntyre down 1 as well. And then Blackwood and Özkan up 1. And Labazas Nishka, who's up 3. Franco Gamba stays in P16. And then the 2 winners of Shuto and Novikov up 2 positions, and then Mohamed Patel was down 6, and then Kai Cherezhnia was down 1. So I think I think they may be tangled at the first lap, and that's why they've been sent to the back of the grid, and Cherezhnia now 11 seconds behind.
Yeah, I think Cherezhnia just completely spun off course, and Patel just lost a lot of time because of colliding with Cherezhnia, and yeah, that has definitely cost them a lot, especially Patel, as he's down 6 positions from 13th. And as we watch now, as Victor Albon seems to be getting chased, pursued by Milka Singh in the Alfa Romeo, he will want to be getting that top 10 place back, as we see some fastest lap, as we see some personal bests going down the field there, and Robert Sashnikai is going to maybe go for a move on Ozkan. Can he get it done? And I think the answer is going to be yes for now, but Ozkan's going to have the inside line, and I think that is Sashnikai up into P14. Yes, it is. Fantastic stuff from Robert Sashnikai in the run-out.
Yeah, this man is really clawing his way through the field. Very, very good job from Laban Sashnikai. Already putting the pressure on Jafari Blackwood there. As we'll see if he can get himself up to P13. Laban has really, really proved himself, but the battle could not be over, as Özkan's going to try it on the inside of Laban Sashnikai into the 3rd sector then, as he tries to hang on the outside of Laban there, gets the inside line, gets the better traction. Can he make the move stick, as Laban's going to try to defend on the outside line? He's got the inside line at the track. Goes back and forth, these two drivers dancing around as they try to get the move done. Özkan round the outside, gets the move done, back up at the P14. Very good battle.
Yeah, I think Sashnikai was actually trying to go for the move on Blackwood as well, but I think panicked slightly, and now Ozkan is definitely going to be putting the pressure on Blackwood now down the straight. Can he possibly get the move done before they reach turn 1? If not, he will probably have to go for a dive bomb move here. And I think that's side by side now, as we see there an Alfa Romeo and a Haas go side by side as well. I think it's Singh and Albon, and Ozkan's down the inside of Blackwood. Can he get that? Can he get the job done? Yes. And Blackwood just about staying ahead for now. He will have the inside line, but Ozkan's going to try and go round the outside into 100R. He will have the inside line now, and that is P13. Fantastic stuff from the Swede after losing a position the same way on the previous lap to Sashnikai, and he will now be pursuing his teammate Lewis McIntyre.
Yeah, what a recovery from Samuel Özkan. That's absolutely incredible. I tell you, Red Bull have got an incredible youngster on their hands here. And yeah, that is Samuel Özkan up at the P13, now chasing down his teammate Lewis McIntyre. Mohamed Patel has gone past Maximilian Novikov then for P18. So yeah, it's not totally over for Mohamed here, as he's chasing down Josef Frederick Schuto. Milka Singh, who was unable to get past Victor Arbon there. We have got a very stacked midfield, Alex, you have to agree.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see now, another battle seems to be brewing now between Kulasek and Paratsky. And Kulasek is currently in the DRS, but I don't think he is quite close enough for now. But I could be wrong here, as he tries to have a look down the inside. He is going to go down the inside, and it's oh so close in turn 1. And I think that dive bomb did not pay off, and Kulasek is still in P9 and will have to look for another way to get past as they continue to try and close in on Farina. As we see now, Alex Arnold in P4 behind Miran Evci. He is 3 tenths behind at the moment and going through 300R as I believe, and Evci does seem to be looking a little slow at the moment. Could he? And yeah, Arnold is right behind him. As we see, the 2 Red Bulls also seem to be getting interested at the sight of Evci looking pretty slow now. But yeah, Miran Evci may need to get a wriggle on at the moment, because Arnold is closing fast.
Yeah, Evci just, I don't know, the pace has just completely dropped for him. He's 4.6 seconds off teammate Graf, but in doing this, he's backed up Alexander Arnold into the 2 Red Bulls. We'll see if this is a good thing or not. Either way, Arnold is having difficulties trying to overtake the Swede for P3, but he's now got the other Swede of Alfred Klaus there in P5 to worry about, and Klaus could also have Mandic to worry about later on, as Kulasek looking for a move, and then it's practically late, pulls out very, very late, and tries it into the first corner, but he's not close enough to succeed with that move just yet. Either way, he's doing a very good job of putting the pressure on Enis Paratsky.
Parachki does seem to be holding his own at the moment, though, despite the huge pressure from the Czech driver Kulasek, and Kulasek it seems to be getting looks like he could start to get a bit more frustrated now, and he may want to look at the bigger picture now, as Luca Farina is right ahead of Parachki as well, so he could be able to gain 2 positions for the price of 1.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tall order for Luca Farina. He's going to have to defend from Ennis Parachki and Vojta Kulasek, which is going to be very, very hard for him. Either way, we'll see how the young Italian fares, but this is turning into a very, very interesting battle for sure, as Farina is losing time behind Tomas Mandic. Well, to be fair, it's an Alfa Romeo to a Red Bull, so I guess he would lose time, but Kulasek still looking for a way past the Macedonian as they approach start-finish straight. I think he's going to have a very good shot at trying it now, as Milka Singh trying to follow Viktor Albom through on the start-finish straight, having been in slipstream with the Danish driver. He's going to try it to turn 1, I think, as the two are side by side. Yes, look at that. There in the background, as Milka Singh is going to have the inside on Viktor Albom here into turn 1. It's going to be Albom on the outside. He's going to have the inside line, and heading into turn 3. Can Singh still hold on as Albom closes the door? Singh tries to have a look on the inside, but it's not going to work. And Viktor Albom successfully defends from Milka Singh. Yeah, hats off to Viktor Albom, though. He's defended from Milka Singh for about 9 laps now.
Yeah, fantastic work from the Danish driver. And he's done very well to get himself into the top 10 in the first place. Fantastic start from him. And done brilliant defending to match it as well. So he is definitely putting in a sterling performance today, and he may actually be having a look at Vojta Kulasek now as Luca Farina continues to back up the rest of the top 10, as there seems to be a huge train forming behind the Italian Alfa Romeo driver, and Kulasek, well, he still wants to get past Parachki, and I think I can see it happening this lap if he can just get it right this time. He is very close. He is very close to the McLaren driver, and he is already pulling out to the right hand side to maybe try and find a way through. But I think he will. He is losing a bit of time as Parachki continues to get from Kulasek. And Blackwood, and as I'm saying, as Blackwood goes down the inside of Oscar, can he repass the Toro Rosso driver? And the answer is no for now.
Yeah, good defending from Samet Özkan, but Jafari Blackwood got a very, very good one on him. Could not translate that into an overtake though. But we'll see if he can do it again, as Blackwood might have Laban Sasnishka to worry about, and Miran Evji might have Alexander Arnold to worry about, as Arnold still putting the pressure on Miran Evji, but Evji hasn't moved an inch. That's probably the widest Ferrari in the world right now. Yeah,
well, he will want it to be, because he's got three cars behind him. I'm not sure what's going on with him at the moment, but I think it's either just my mind playing tricks on me, but I'm not sure if Miran Evji actually has a problem, because he's losing a lot of time to Dennis Graf, and that gap is now 7 seconds between the two Ferraris as Jesper Johansson continues to lead this race. But Alex Arnold is continuing to stay within a second of Evji, and Mandic and Klaus still putting on the pressure, as Mandic is going to try and maybe look for a move on Alfred Klaus into turn 1, and I don't think he's just close enough for now, and he will have to remain behind for the time being, as we've seen Mohamed Patel and Franco Gamba going at it for P17, and Patel is down the inside already, and that is a job done. Thank you very much for the British driver.
Good stuff from Mohamed Patel there, but I do not know what FG is doing. Either that is strategy to try and maybe secure Dennis Graf the P2, or something is just terribly wrong with that Ferrari, and FG just cannot find pace at all.
Yeah, and he's gone a bit wide into the corner now, and Arnold was having a look down the inside, but yeah, this could either be tactics, or he just could have a problem that needs to be solved now, I guess. And on a side note, Miranda, it is not 51 laps, it is 31 laps, as we have 20 laps to go now. And Arnold is and I think Klaus has actually got a lot closer to the back of Alex Arnold now, and he may be having a look, and he may try and have a look into turn 1, as Arnold has lost a lot of time trying to actually get past FG after he made a mistake in turn 1. And can Klaus potentially get the job done? And no, I think he's going to stay behind, just stick behind Arnold for now, and maybe look for a move at another part of the track. Maybe next lap will be his best opportunity.
Yeah, Klaus could now try and get into the mix here and maybe attempt to move on Arnold, as here is Novikov and Gamba. Something is happening to Franco Gamba, and I don't know what it is, but he is just completely falling down the order as Maximilian Novikov now gets past. But yeah, what has happened to Franco Gamba?
I actually don't know. He's not looked his best all weekend, to be honest, and it could be the same, and FG and Gamba could both potentially have problems as well. And Kai Shurazny just seems to be in a world of his own at the moment, and he is still 20th place and 8.5 seconds off the quite frankly slow Franco Gamba, as we see now. Dennis Graf, second place, and the 2017 world champion against the 2018 world champion. Graf is about half a second behind and is looking pretty interested in wanting to get past Johansson, but for now he is going to have to remain patient and sit tight and to potentially make a move, as his teammate Mironevski is still under pressure from the other Mercedes in Alex Arnold. And this seems to be a recurring theme at the moment. Arnold right behind FG and not able to get past, but FG is seemingly doing enough to keep his Ferrari in the podium spots.
I mean, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. But yeah, I can assume Alex must be incredibly frustrated behind the wheel of that Mercedes. But Dennis Graf, as you said, looking very close to Jesper Johansson, so those two could be in the battle for the lead. It's not going to be easy peasy race win for Jesper Johansson, it doesn't look like. But yeah, Franco Gamba still, I can't help but wonder what's wrong with that McLaren, because he's 2.5 seconds off Maximilian Novikov. There's gotta be something wrong with a McLaren. Either way, it's sure to be a wicket for Franco Gamba. Same goes for Kai Shurazny, who's had an absolutely dismal start to his 2019 F1 season. Either way, we're gonna see now if Alexander Arnold is close enough to try the move on the energy into the first corner, as he is just losing heaps of time behind the Ferrari at the moment, and he does not try it just yet. Don't think he's too close enough at the moment, but yeah, he's just gonna have to hope that FG slips up and he'll be able to get past.
Yeah, Arnold is. If that Mercedes steering wheel had a car horn on it, he would have probably broke it by now, because he's probably shouting "Get out of the way" underneath that helmet, and as he's losing time, as you said, this is definitely attracting attention from the two Red Bulls and maybe soon enough the rest of the top 10. As Farina, I mean, he is 5 seconds behind, but as we said, as there are still plenty of laps to go, anything can happen in this race.
Yeah, obviously the leading pack are still very, very close, so the podium is still completely undecided. We don't know who's going to finish on the podium, and we don't know if it's going to be Jesper Johansson or Dennis Graf who's going to take the victory today. And yeah, there's just battles up and down the field, so it's always nice to see. But yeah, Alex Arnold looking a bit further away to Miran Evci this lap. Klaus is looking a bit closer to Arnold. So I think... Oh yeah, here's a battle. As we're going to see Milka Singh going to try to attempt to get into the points once again, as he's going to try to attempt it on Victor Alblom. He's going to send one on the inside of Victor here into the first corner. Let's see if he can make the move stick this time, as he's going to be side by side with Alblom now. On the outside then of Alblom is going to try to hold on as they head into $100 down the inside line. That's the more favorable line into this corner. Can they keep it side by side? Flat out through there. Singh dips a wheel into the grass, but they're still going to be wheel to wheel as Singh is going to go on the outside. Still holds it though, as there's barely a meter between the two. Albon is gonna hold the outside now. It's gonna have the outside line to this corner as well. Singh is gonna have the advantage as he's later on the brakes, but Albon with the better traction on the outside there into sector 3 now. As Singh's gonna have the inside, or Albon forced the long way round, but it's gonna switch the inside as they dance around the chicanes now. Singh on the outside, but Albon shuts the door, and that is Victor Albon ahead. Only for now, as Singh is gonna try to have a look on the outside. This could attract Lewis McIntyre behind, as Singh still side by side with the main straight. Albon trying to move over on the Indian driver as they're wheel to wheel heading down the start finish straight onto lap 16 out of 31. As we're about halfway distance in this race now, Singh's gonna have the inside line once again. They've been side by side for the entire lap, ladies and gentlemen. As Albon's gonna be on the outside once again. It's a never-ending battle. Just goes around the entire circuit. Albon on the outside. He's ahead now. Singh having a look on the inside, but he's gonna have to stay back for now. And what a battle!
Yeah, I was holding my breath for that entire lap. I was hoping that on the main straight, I was hoping McIntyre, Singh and Albon didn't go 3 wide, because the chances are that could have ended horribly for all 3. But fantastic defending from Victor Albon, especially slamming that door shut on Singh in the 3rd sector. Fantastic defending still from Albon, and he's continuing a fantastic and brilliant drive today in P10. But for now, it is battle over for now.
Yes, for now. Still, just a very, very heroic effort from Victor Albon. Meanwhile, we were focusing on that battle as well. Mohammed Patel was able to get past Joseph Erdik Shuto for P16. So, yeah, very nice stuff from Mohammed Patel. He's actually been able to claw his way through the field pretty nicely. As I just realized, Kai Chereznia has caught up to Franco Gamba, but Gamba has fallen 9.9 seconds back on Maximilian Novikov. So I think there's something horribly wrong with that McLaren. I don't know what it is, because that is not a driver pace for sure.
Yeah, that definitely is not normal. I reckon it's either an internal problem with that Renault power unit in the McLaren, or it could just be that he's picked up some front wing damage, some damage to his car somewhere that we haven't noticed. But Kai Chereznia, as that gap is now about 11 seconds of Chereznia, is right on the back of him now, and Gamba will probably want to forget this weekend sooner rather than later. Dismal qualifying and an even more dismal race for the Italian driver. This has been very depressing for poor Franco.
Yeah, for both of them, I would say, as they're battling for the last P19 here. These two were probably tipped to be a lot further up the field. Obviously, Franco Gamba, a great driver, and Kai Chereznia with an incredible junior career. Both of them, 2 great drivers, we know that, but they seem to be really, really struggling, and they just don't get the hang of the car, it seems like. As Milka Singh now, once again, on the attack of Victor Albon. This battle is never going to end, as Singh's going to be on the inside into the first corner once again. Albon's going to have the inside into turn 3 here. Singh trying to take a wider line to try and pursue Victor Albon, but Albon defends. So Singh still can't get ahead, as Chereznia on the main straight has gotten ahead of Franco Gamba. That's very unusual. We don't see a move completed before turn 1 on the main straight. So I think you might be right on the Renault power unit maybe being a bit faulty here, Alex.
Yeah, let's just hope that the same problem does not occur for Enis Parachki or the other Renault drivers, because Parachki, well, he's still trying to defend from Kulisek, but he has lost a bit of time on Farina now. But as the race seems to have calmed down a little bit, I don't think Victor Albon and Milka Singh have got the message of it. I've got that message yet, and they're still going at it for the final points paying position. And all I can say is just wow, fantastic work from these two to actually be staying in this race, but whilst battling so hard. And if they keep this up, then they may actually attract some interest from McIntyre and Samet Ozkan in the Toro Rossos.
Yeah, the Toro Rosso's doing quite well. Milka Singh here, who's still putting the pressure. These two drivers are really just going all out for the point-paying positions here. Yeah, none of them willing to give an inch. Singh is looking to try on the outside into turn 3. Switches to the inside though. Is Albon going to leave the space? No, he does not.
Yeah, Albon once again defending into that very fast into that fast corner, and the outside line does seem to be a very favourable line going into 100R before you have to switch to the inside to get some better traction and some better speed. And as Milka Singh will definitely have to wait another lap to get past, as we see now. And as Lewis McIntyre looking ever closer to Milka Singh than he was before, and I think that gap is now down to around 4.5 tenths. So could he potentially make a move? Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, he could maybe into turn 1 as he always does on the inside, but yeah, Singh has just been relentlessly attacking Albon here, and Albon's just been defending lap after lap, and he's gonna have to do it again. I think here. As yet, Singh pulls to the right. He's going to be on the inside here of Victor Albon into the first corner. Let's see, as Singh is going to be a tiny bit later on the brakes than Albon. Albon's going to defend on the outside, though, as the two are going to be side by side once again, heading into turn 3. There just ahead is the Renault of Wojtek Kulasek, as Albon is still going to have to deal with Singh on the inside into 300R. No one willing to give an inch to each other, as Albon's going to be on the inside into the hairpin there. Singh having to defend or having to attack on the outside. Is going to be on the inside now. Can Victor Albon hang on, as they are still wheel to wheel now heading into sector 3. Albon later on the brakes there gets the better traction. Singh is still trying to hang on as they're side by side, and they look to be wheel to wheel throughout this section as well, as Singh is going to hold the outside line. As the track rises here, Singh, as they crash, and the two come together, and Singh spun round. Victor Albon is able to continue, but he's lost control, and I think Singh can't get that car running again. Those two locked in such fierce competition, and it's ended in tears for Milka Singh. What looked to be points for the Indian has gone to absolute despair, and he's stuck. He's stuck, Singh. I think he's out.
Oh, that is absolutely heartbreaking. I'm sorry if I sound very sarcastic, but that's absolutely devastating. Such good battling as well, and it's just ended in absolute calamity for Albon, and especially Milka Singh, who I believe, confirmation now of him out of the race. We are down to 19 drivers now, and it's absolutely devastating for Milka Singh. He will be absolutely heartbroken with that.
Yeah, such a shame for Singh. He was doing so well, and yeah, I think both of them just got a bit. I think that's what happens when you just compete at the limit. Eventually there's going to be a crash somewhere, and yeah, luckily it didn't end in despair for both parties. Victor Albon, even though he lost massive amounts of time to avoid the Kulisek, was still able to continue. Summit Özkan, who looks very, very close to Lewis McIntyre. Özkan had to defend from Laban Zosnishkai there behind, as Lewis McIntyre, who is on the back of Jafari Blackwood here, so McIntyre could try and make the move on the Jamaican here. Obviously, as we mentioned before, Blackwood, who's won at the circuit in Formula 2, we'll see if he can now put the pressure to one of the most experienced midfielders in the ACOC, Lewis McIntyre, as we'll see if he will make a move just yet. No, it does not. He stays behind, stays patient, Lewis. Let's see if he can make the move into these following corners. Not yet, though, as Özkan there behind. The other two are also defending from Laban Zosnishkai for P13, but I think Lewis McIntyre is going to stay behind for P12 at the moment.
Yeah, I think during the Albon and Singh incident, I'm pretty sure Blackwood managed to get past Özkan and McIntyre and take 11th place, but McIntyre, and that'll definitely have angered McIntyre quite substantially, as he's now having to get past the Haas for P11 with Albon around a second and a half up the road, as we once again turn our focus towards the top end of the field with Alex Arnold once again quite close to Mironetti, who is now 10 seconds behind his teammate Dennis Graf. He is continuing to to seem quite slow, but seem quick enough to keep Arnold behind. So it seems to be a very confusing situation, as Arnold is going to have a look down the inside. Can FG defend it? I think he can for now, as they're going to be side by side. And Arnold is going to have a look on the outside, but FG is going to slam the door shut.
Oh, that is frustrating for Alex for sure, as he had a prime opportunity to get past FG, but yeah, Miran quick on the defense there, but Arnold is going to have another opportunity for sure. But yeah, it's frustrating for Alex Arnold, as Lewis McIntyre has a bit of a look on Jafari Blackwood there, but yeah, he's unable to get past the Jamaican.
Yeah, McIntyre definitely getting sick and tired of having cars in front of him, but unable to be getting past, so he is definitely going to be wanting to get past Blackwood sooner rather than later, and he'd be saying, and I think he's saying in his, probably saying in his helmet that P11 should have been his, and he should be on the back of Albon now, and possibly even getting into the top 10. But he is going to be ruining the fact that Singh and Albon had to collide and take each other out, it seems. But as we see now, he is very close to Jafari Blackwood and could potentially have an attempt at a move into turn 1 going down the straight. But yep, going into the DRS straight now, and McIntyre looking ever closer to Blackwood than he has been previously, and could he potentially make a move? And I don't think he is quite able to, is he? And hang on, I might be wrong here, and yeah, sadly not quite close enough, and he is going to stick behind and sit tight in P12.
Yeah, well, what surprised me about McIntyre is that he's staying quite patient. He's not really trying moves all willy-nilly like some other drivers, that he's just staying behind and waiting, I guess, for Blackwood to maybe make a mistake so he can slip past. We'll see if that will pay off, though. As status update on the race lead, Jesper Johansson now leads by 1.8 seconds from Dennis Graf. So Graf has fallen back a tiny bit, and Johansson now leads by a bigger advantage than before. Lewis McIntyre still trying to follow Jafari Blackwood. McIntyre might have to worry about Samet Özkan, his rookie teammate, behind though. So we'll see if those two could get into some battling later as well, as there's a battle further up the field. Wojtek Kulasek clears Enis Parachi for P8. Kulasek now on the back of Luca Farina here. Could maybe try the move into the first corner maybe, as he looks rather close to the young Italian. But Farina, with that Ferrari engine in the back of his car, actually pulls away quite substantially. You can see the Ferrari engine compared to the Renault engine. That is a very, very substantial difference on the straight.
Yeah, Kulasek will be definitely relieved that he's managed to get back past Barachki now. And, well, it's about time, really. 20 with around 6 laps to go, as we see McIntyre once again seemingly interested in getting past Blackwood. I think he's made a mistake there, getting caught up on the curb, and his teammate Ozkan is right on the back of him, which is inviting Laban Sashnikai to maybe have a look at the two Toro Rossos. But yeah, Kulasek will be very happy that he's managed to finally get past Parachki, but that battle is not over yet, as we continue to see McIntyre stuck behind Jafari Blackwood with 6 laps remaining.
Yeah, as McIntyre defending from his teammate Özkan there. Kulasek on the back of Luca Farina. Just a chat conversation. But Kulasek then on the back of Luca Farina. He could get past the Italian for P7 here, but he's going to have difficulties overtaking him. The Ferrari engine much faster in a straight line, but that Renault is far better in the corners than the Alfa Romeo, obviously. But still, Farina, who is really outpacing that Alfa Romeo, he's doing really well in P7, it has to be said. Kulasek, who is defending from Enis Parachki there in P9. Lewis McIntyre finally tries it on Jafari Blackwood into the first corner, as he stayed behind the Jamaican for way too long, and now he decides to have a go on the Jamaican. Has a look on the outside, switch to the inside, but that's going to leave Jafari. That's going to allow Jafari to close the door, and yeah, McIntyre stays in P12.
Yep, and
as Yeah, we're gonna focus on this battle then, as McIntyre is gonna try to get Jafari Blackwood here. In the probably into turn 1 on the next lap, as yeah, he's just gonna have to hope that Blackwood he's gonna just have to hope to pressure Blackwood into a mistake here, as Samet Özkan is defending from Laban Zosnishkai there for P13.
And yep, McIntyre still seems to be absolutely stuck behind her. Blackwood, as we see here, Kulasek is once again quite close to Farina, but Alfa Romeo is going to pull away massively, as you can see there on the trackside cameras. And yeah, Kulasek does seem will be quite surprised with the pace of the Alfa Romeo down the straight, but the Ferrari engines are absolutely amazing. As just behind McIntyre and Blackwood, there's another battle going on between Özkan and Sajnikai. And Sajnikai briefly up into P13, and they're going to go side by side now as into turn 3, and Özkan is going to seemingly slam the door shut on Sajnikai, and he will stay P13 for the time being. 4 laps to go. Can Sajnikai make the move and get to P13?
Yeah, the battle is still far from over, as Mohammed Patel actually surprisingly has caught up to these guys. But yeah, Özkan on the defense here. Zosnishka has not been able to get past the Swede in the Toro Rosso, as Laban might have to worry about the racing point of Mohammed Patel here. Wojtek Kulasek, he has got to be frustrated for sure with that Renault engine, just not giving him the leverage on the straight that he wants, and it is frustrating, as we're gonna see.
Yeah, I think he wants I think he just wants the Ferrari engine in the back of that car, to be honest. But sadly, you can't always get what you want, as Farina continues to pull away down the straight and disappear off into the distance going into turn 1, and Kulasek will be quite annoyed by the fact he cannot get past that very speedy Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, just the pace from the Alfa Romeo currently is insane. Luca Farina is really just out dragging that car, and he's just doing an incredible job in P7. As we focus on this battle further down the field, once again, Laban Zosnishkai versus Samet Özkan versus Lewis McIntyre versus Jafari Blackwood, and then I guess you can also throw Mohammed Patel into the mix there. So it's just an all-out brawl here for what is P11.
Well, maybe if Victor Orban makes another mistake, he could potentially fall back into this hypothetically 5-car battle. I think even Joseph Frederick Suter and Maximilian Novikov are starting to get involved a little bit here, as they're starting to catch up to Mohammed Patel as well. But yeah, this could potentially be for a singular point, but for now it is to get past Jafari Blackwood, who is still around a second behind Victor Albon. Maybe potentially backing everyone up to help his teammate out.
Yeah, it's just it's an all-out battle here for what is essentially a singular point. Not even that at the moment, as the gap to Victor Albon is still quite substantial. Lewis McIntyre trying to get past Victor or Jafari Blackwood, sorry. But the two houses still doing very well, P10 and P11.
Yeah, very keeping themselves very honest today, but again, very impressive despite their quite substantial pace loss from 2018. But yeah, absolutely, they will be very happy with today. Victor Albon in 10th and Jafari Blackwood doing him a very big favour in keeping everyone else behind in P11. And speaking of people behind, Lewis McIntyre will probably be absolutely furious at this stage now, as we have around two laps after this one to go, and he's still not able to navigate past the black and gold Haas car.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating for McIntyre, but yeah, he's had a few good tussles in the midfield today. Either way, we'll see if he can get Blackwood as they approach lap 30 out of 31. Dennis Groff looks to have closed the gap on Jesper Johansson by a tiny bit, but that gap is still 1 second, so We're not sure if anything's going to happen here, but we might see something happening here as Laban Sasnishkai is going to try to get Summit Özkan. Özkan trying to move over, trying to defend from the Swede as he's looking to get Summit Özkan at the first corner. Özkan is going to have Lewis McIntyre to worry about as he's kind of getting boxed in there. And that is Sasnishkai ahead. Sasnishkai now trying it on Lewis McIntyre, but McIntyre on the defense. Sasnishkai kind of biting off, trying to bite off more than he could chew here. And he's gotten past Summit Özkan at least, so now he's going to try to put the pressure on Lewis McIntyre.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it got very, very close in turn 1 there, and it was almost 3 wide. As we see now, Enis Paratki's once again trying to regain that P8 he lost a few laps ago, and they go side by side into the twisty section of this track and into the final sector now. Paratki has the outside line, has the inside line turning into the outside line, and this is where Singh and Albon crashed, remember, and Kulasek slamming the door shut just as Albon did around 10 laps ago as we enter the final lap of the Pacific Grand Prix. Jesper Johansson has led this race commandingly from Leitz to flag, having a little scare earlier on in the race from Dennis Graf closing in. Whilst that gap is still remaining over a second, he is still leading as we see now Enis Paratki and Voja Kulasek going side by side down into turn 1. Can Paratki get the move done and back into P8? He seems to have his nose ahead going into turn 1 and is still ahead, but they are going to go side by side into turn 3 just like many battles before. Paratki has the outside line, Kulasek has the inside line, and Paratki into 100R is clear of Kulasek as McIntyre is finally past Jafari Blackwood in P11.
Yeah, very, very good stuff. But I think Jesper Johansson is just about to cross the final corner. Yeah, it's been an absolutely commanding race for this guy, doing what he does best, and that is lead a light to flag race. It's another Mercedes victory at Fuji, but it's not Alexander Arnold, it's Jesper Johansson as he will cross the line to win the Pacific Grand Prix. And it's an absolutely flawless performance for the Swede as he wins in Japan. Dennis Graf comes on P2, Miran Evji P3, and then Alexander Arnold P4. And then the 2 Red Bulls of Thomas Mandic and Alfred Klaus, Klaus P5, Mandic P6. Luca Farina, what a performance from the Italian. That's P7. That's Alfa Romeo and Sauber's best ever finish in the ACOC.
Yeah, Farina doing his team proud though with a fantastic P7, and Victor Albon, despite his collision with Milka Singh, which caused Singh to retire, is going to round out the points as we see the last few cars finishing this race. Kai Shrezhnia in P18 and, well, P19 is Franco Gamba, who is now 25 seconds behind Shrezhnia.
Yeah, that is not going to look good for Franco Gamba. Neither is it going to be for Kai Shrezhnia. It's such a shame for the two, especially for Franco Gamba, who obviously looked to be very good on the pace last time out, but something has just happened, and it really is a race to forget for Franco Gamba. He's going to have to forget about this and move on to the next round at Azerbaijan. But that is it then for the Pacific Grand Prix. Jesper Johansson takes the win and fastest lap. It's a grand slam for the Super Swede as he takes the pole, win, and every race lap led. So a very, very good job for Jesper Johansson. It's Dennis Graf P2 and then Miran Evji in P3. We'll go through the final classifications then. I'll take this first. I'll take position 1 to 10 and then you take 11 to 20. So it's Jesper Johansson who wins the Pacific Grand Prix, a dominant drive from the Swede, and it's Dennis Graf in P2. The Ferrari driver finishes second, followed by his teammate Miran Evji in P3, and then Alexander Arnold in P4. The 2 Red Bulls of Alfred Klaus and Thomas Mandic, who swapped positions at the start. Klaus finishes P5 and Thomas Mandic finishes P6, followed by Luca Farina, an excellent performance from the young Italian. He finishes P7. Then it's Enis Paratki in P8, followed by Wojtek Kulasek in P9, and Victor Albom, superb defending from the Danish driver throughout the entire race. He finishes P10.
P11, we've got Lewis McIntyre finally getting past Jafari Blackwood on that final lap. He gets P11 with Jafari Blackwood obviously finishing P12. Laban Sasnikai, a very decent recovery from the Serbian in 13th. Samit Ozkan in the other Toro Rosso in 14th. Mohamed Patel, a pretty decent recovery as well from his incident at the start in 15th, Joseph Frederick Suto in 16th, Maximilian Novikov, his teammate, in 17th, Kai Shrezhnia, a day to forget for him in P18. Franco Gamba, also a very dismal result for him, having problems throughout the race in P19, and he is the last of the finishers, with Milka Singh DNFing due to his crash with Victor Albon.
So yes, a very, very interesting Pacific Grand Prix then, wouldn't you say, Alex?
Well, Fuji does always seem to provide us with some very good entertainment, and it is definitely and it hasn't let us down this time round. But yeah, well done to Jesper Johansson for a commanding victory today, and a commanding race weekend on the whole.
Yeah, it's been an absolutely great drive from Jesper Johansson. It's been a very exciting Pacific Grand Prix. We've seen so much action, and we've seen so many overtakes, incredible battles in the midfield, and just incredible battles all around. So yeah, it was very, very interesting, but I think it's time for us to go. Thank you so much for watching the ACOC today. It's been a very, very exciting race. Congratulations to Jesper Johansson, and congratulations to Mercedes on the victory. We should have our driver of the day, though, before we go. Alex, who would you give your driver of the day?
Well, my driver of the day is honestly Luca Farina, because he's just been fantastic in qualifying and in the race, staying in the top 10 throughout, and gaining positions at the start, and defending from a very large train of drivers, definitely keeping his composure all race long, and he definitely deserves a driver of the day today. So fantastic work, Luca Farina. You definitely deserve it today.
Yeah, well, I have to give it to Farina as well. Really showed experience beyond his years today, and yeah, he qualified incredibly well. Both Alphas qualified really well, and then he just cut his way through the field, defended excellently from the likes of Parachi and Kulasek, and came home to finish a record best for Sauber and Alfa Romeo. So great job from him, and my driver of the day goes to Luca Farina. But I think it's time to round it off. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you tomorrow for the first round of Formula E at the Dubai Prix at the Dubai Autodrome. So see you then. I've been Miran Evji.
And I've been Alex Broster.
Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow. Thank you, and